we have this problem, and this is the information that is given. So first of all, we have to write the dual. So the dual is minimize W is equal to 30y1, 40y2. पहली constraint है y1 plus y2, 5y1 minus 5y2, 2y1 minus 6y2, 3y1 and y2. Now the first constraint in the dual, this is the primal, and this is the dual. So the first constraint is all variables are favorable, so all constraints are favorable. First constraint in the primal is an equality, so this is unrestricted in sign. Second is in favor, so second is in favor. Now x1 is basic. This implies the first constraint in the dual is equal to S2 is the slack in the second constraint. So if S2 is basic, this implies y2 is equal to 0. So there you see we have the value for y2. Okay. And putting this value in the first equation, we get y1 equals to 5. So we have y1, we have y2. This implies W at the optima is 30 into y1, 40 into y2. So that means the objective value of the dual is 150, which is also equal to the objective value of the primal at the optima. Okay. Now there are two more constraints for which we have no information from these two. इन्होंने तो सिर्फ बताया कि पहली कंस्ट्रेंट इक्वल होगी और y2 0 होगा. उसके बाद हमने y1 निकाला, y2 निकाला, w निकाला, बट दीज टू कंस्ट्रेंट्स आर स्टिल लेफ्ट. इनमें भी कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन हमको मिल सकती है. इस इक्वेशन में क्या पता चलेगा इस कंस्ट्रेंट को देख के? y1 का वैल्यू पुट करेंगे, y2 का वैल्यू पुट करेंगे, वी विल सी दैट देयर इज सम सरप्लस लेफ्ट. कैलकुलेट करते हैं उसकी वैल्यू. सो 5 into y1 is 5 minus 5 into 0 is greater than equal to 2. So this is 25. 25 is indeed greater than 2. But by how much? 25 minus 2. So this is the surplus that you need to subtract, which is equal to 23. So let's say this 23 is equal to the surplus. इस constraint में surplus का नाम V2 दे देते हैं. So V2 is 23. What is V2? V2 is the surplus amount that you have to subtract to make this constraint equal. Now we will solve for this third constraint. Third constraint, if we put the value, we get 2 into y1. What is y1? y1 is 5 minus 6 into y2, which is 0, is greater than equal to 3. So 10 is greater than equal to 3. That means what is the difference? The difference is 7, which is equal to V3. What is V3? V3 is the surplus in the third constraint. Is there any surplus in the first constraint? The answer is no. Why the answer is no? Because the first constraint became an equal to. So there was nothing as a surplus in the first constraint. Okay. V2 is 23. V3 is 7. Now if you want to write all the variables, just write them. So y1 came out to be 5. Y2 came out to be 0. V2 came out to be 23. V3 came out to be 7. And the objective value of the dual came out to be 150, which is also equal to the primal's objective at the optima. So this is the complete information of the values of the dual variables. Okay. Now, if one wants to go back and wants to find the values of these variables at the optima, so we can always go back. See how we know that the variable y1 has a non-zero value. That means y1 is basic. So now we'll write this information. That means y1 is basic. This implies that the first equation, first constraint is actually an equation which is already true. So we just copy the first equation. We'll just copy this equation. Copy it here. फर्स्ट इक्वेशन ये है, ये y1 ने बताया था, ये पहले से ही इक्वल टू था तो कोई चेंज ही नहीं आया. नेक्स्ट सी v2. v2 is the surplus in the second constraint. That means x2 should be 0. So that means since v2 is basic, so this implies x2 is 0. Also, v3 is a surplus which is also non-zero. That means this is also basic. That means v3 is basic. This implies x3 is also 0. So we have got the value for x2. We have got the value for x3. And if we plug in these two values in this equation, this term vanishes, this term vanishes. We get the value for x1 as 30. And what is the objective? Objective of this primal is 5x1 plus 2x2. So this is the objective. This is the objective. If we plug in the value, z equals to 5 into x1. x1 is 30. 2 into x2 is 0. 3 into x3 is 0. So what is the value for z? Which is 150, as we got earlier when we solved the dual. Now, we got x1, we got x2, we got x3. But this constraint, इसके बारे में किसी ने कुछ बताया नहीं अभी. We just plug in the value and calculate the slack. x1, इसको कॉपी कर लेते हैं. x1, this is the constraint. We just paste the constraint and we calculate the value for the slack. x1 is 30. 5 into 0 minus 6 into 0 is less than 40. So 30 is less than 40. So what is the slack that should be added? The slack that should be added, since it is the second constraint, so we just name it as S2, the slack is equal to 10. Okay. So now we have all the information of the dual variables also and the primal. So we'll just write everything. यहाँ पे लिख देते हैं values. x1 is 30, x2 is 0, x3 is 0, z is 150, s2 is 10, z is 150. So this is the information of the primal and this was the information of the dual. We haven't applied any simplex table. We just applied the complementary slackness condition to get the answer. Okay.